Wait, Julie just got on the. It's on your left hand. Look at me, Vanessa. Is that how you're gonna say it? She's good. Oh, okay. Okay, we're starting.
Welcome to D3 TV News at 7:30. This is The Source.
Good evening and welcome to The Source. I'm Allie Grimm.
And I'm Vanessa Ballas. We've got a lot to talk about tonight, so let's get started with our local news coverage. A fan in a student's room caught fire in Mason Hall last Wednesday. D3 TV's Tilly Marlatt and Julie Block were on the scene.
Okay. According to the banner graphic, an Operation Life ambulance and a Putnam County Sheriff Department's SUV were involved in a crash at the intersection of US 231 and Veterans Memorial Highway on Friday. Both drivers were transported to Putnam County Hospital by other Operation Life crews following the crash. Neither individual suffered major injuries, but both complained of pain.
College campuses are tightening their emergency procedures after Abdul Razak Ali Artan, a Somalian refugee who came to the United States illegally, drove into a group of pedestrians at Ohio State University this past Monday. Artan then began to stab several people. He was later killed by the police. 9 people were reported injured and 1 is in critical condition. In response to this incident, DePaul Public Safety Director Angie Nally sent out a campus-wide email explaining DePauw's emergency procedures of run, hide, and fight. In the event of an emergency, notifications will be sent via text, campus emails, on DePauw.edu, and other communication outlets. For more information, visit DePauw's campus safety website.
The final Ubben Lecture for the fall semester will be given by David Cameron, the former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. The lecture will take place Thursday, December 6 at 4:30 p.m. Cameron will be the 6th British Prime Minister to be part of the Ubben Lecture series. This is also one of Cameron's first public speaking appearances since resigning from office in September, after the UK announced its withdrawal from the European Union. The lecture, titled The Historic Events of 2016 and Where We Will Go From Here, will be held at the Neal Fieldhouse in the Lilly Center. A DePauw University government ID is required for the entry. The event is free and open to the public. Coats, bags, personal photography, and recording devices, strollers, and umbrellas will be prohibited.
According to the 2016 Open Doors Report on International Educational Exchange, DePauw has moved up 1 spot and now ranks 4th in the nation for study abroad. According to DePauw's website, 491 students studied abroad in 2014. DePauw has consistently ranked in the report's top 10 for several years.
In more student life news, major certification forms for seniors are due this Friday to the registrar's office. Students graduating either this December or May must go to e-services and print out the graduation checklist for their majors. The student and their advisor must sign the form indicating that all required classes for the major will be completed by graduation.
2 DePauw juniors, Peter Gorman and Margaret Roca, were awarded the prestigious Benjamin Gilman Scholarship. The Gilman Scholarship is given to financially assist students that are hoping to study abroad. Through this scholarship, the foundation hopes to give all students the opportunity to have a cultural experience. With the assistance of the Gilman Scholarship, Gorman will be traveling to Switzerland and Roca to Australia.
That's all the news we have for tonight. Up next, Sabrina Strazel will be in the studio with your entertainment news. Stay with us.
You say it like that. Got me falling right back.
Good evening and welcome to The Source.
Entertainment news on The Source.
Welcome back to Sports News on The Source. Back to The Source.
Welcome back to Entertainment news on The Source.
Welcome back to Sports News on the Source.
I'm Kylie Rippey. I'm Megan Mannering.
I'm Josh Crazy.
I'm Vicky Pislarides.
I'm Allie Grimm. I'm Tilly Marlatt.
When you say it like that.
And here's one more package, the Mason Fire package that was created by Tilly Marlatt.
The Tuesday before Thanksgiving break, a fire started at 3:12 a.m. in Mason Hall, triggering the fire alarm and sprinkler system. The most recent dorm room fire occurred in Rector Hall in 2002.
So I'm Julia Sutherland, Assistant Dean of Students. I was here this morning in Mason Hall responding to a small fire that was contained to a single residence hall room. Our information indicates that it was started by a fan, a rotating fan that was plugged in and still on that caught fire, and that student is off campus. That student was not here on campus at the time. But the fire department and public safety responded quickly. The sprinkler system worked and contained the fire only to that room. There was a length of time where the sprinkler was still on. The sprinkler was running, which has caused a lot more water damage to the rooms, both around the initial room and below. So we have been working with all the students in the residence hall to contact them, determine what sort of damage they've had in their room, help them with documenting any of that damage so that they can put it and submit that to their homeowner's insurance.
Well, my freshman year, I lived in BR. The fire alarm wasn't that loud, so I slept through like most of them. But like this fire alarm was like super loud. Like you literally can't sleep through it. So like I think most of people went out, and one of my friends, he stayed in and he called me after the second fire alarm. He was like, is this a real fire? And I was like, yeah, just come out. Well, I didn't have much on my floor, but like my carpet got ruined and like maybe a lot of my shoes. I didn't even check yet. They told us to contact our homeowner's insurance, but like we're young and nobody has them, so like we don't really know what to do right now.
When there is a situation like this in a residence hall, we first want students to work with their homeowners insurance. Many families have homeowners policies that will cover their students' belongings when they're away from campus. If a student doesn't have homeowners insurance, we're asking them to contact us through the Dean of Students at depaul.edu, and we'll work with them on a case-by-case basis to help figure out what they need and how we can help them get anything replaced that they need to be replaced if they don't have those homeowners insurance policies.
For D3 TV's The Source, I am Tilly Marlatt.
Welcome back to The Source. I'm Sabrina Stracely with your entertainment news. This Saturday at 7:30 p.m., the hip-hop dance team Excel will perform in Meharry Hall. The performance will include throwbacks by Usher, Chris Brown, Missy Elliott, and more. Admission is free. DePaul School of Music's 6th annual Holiday Gala is this Saturday at 7:30 p.m. and Sunday at 3 p.m. Both performances will be held in Koreski Auditorium in the GCPA. There will even be a visit from Santa. 'Tis the season for DePaul's 4th annual Christmas tree lighting. Get into the holiday spirit with fellow students and faculty while singing Christmas carols, drinking hot chocolate, and apple cider before the countdown to the lighting of the tree. Performances by DePaul Capella, DePitches, and the Italian Club are included. The festivities begin December 1st at 7 p.m. in Ubenquad. Take a break from studying from finals and head to Meharry Hall next Friday, December 9th at 7:30 p.m. for the annual DePaul Capella Winter Concert. The co-ed a cappella group's concert will feature Christmas classics as well as songs by Rihanna, Beyonce, Radiohead, the Jackson 5, and more. Happening right now at Ashley Square Cinema is the screening of the movie Spotlight.
The film is about how the Boston Globe uncovered the massive scandal of child molestation and covered up with the local Catholic diocese. The movie won the 2016 Oscar for Best Motion Picture and Best Screenplay. There will be a post-film discussion with Prindle Institute of Ethics Director Andy Coulson, DePaul Film Study Professor Seth Friedman, and Poem Distinguished Visiting Professor from Journalism Miranda Spivak, who was editor and reporter for the Boston Globe. The talk will take place in the Emerson Room at the Inn of DePaul. That's all the entertainment news for tonight. When we come back, Meredith Beretta will have the latest Tiger athletic news. I'm Sabrina Stracely. Stay with us.
That still makes you cry. Aside from wieners, name something every hot dog vendor has. Name an animal, aside from a lion, that is featured in The Lion King. Name a reason that you would miss a morning class. Name something people often lose. I'm gonna have to say Reagan got to the ball.
Welcome back to The Source. I'm Meredith Brita with your Tiger Sports News. In this year's NCAA Division III Cross Country Championship, DePaul Junior Polo Burgett and sophomore Zach Batt represented the Tigers. Both Burgett and Batt had solid starts to the 8,000-meter course. Polo completed the race in 25 minutes and 12.7 seconds to finish 63rd overall, and Zach followed him, finishing 177th in 25 minutes and 52 seconds. Their participation in the NCAA championship will certainly help prepare them for next year. The men's basketball team defeated East West 86-77 in their opening game of the University of Chicago tournament this past Saturday. They are now 2-2 on the season. Senior Luke Latner led with scores with 26 points, while Jack Vandermeer trailed with 12 points and 10 rebounds. The Tigers shot 52% compared to East West's 36% and had 21 assists on their 28 shots made. The men will be back in action on Sunday as they take on Chicago. The women's swim team wrapped up competition at the Phoenix Fall Classic with 519 points and finished second behind the host University of Chicago, which totaled 925.5. Shelby Witt opened finals with a fourth-place finish in the 400-yard individual medley, while Lydia Thibault was sixth. Kristen Olsen followed with a seventh-place showing in the 200 freestyle, as did Olivia Neff in the 100 butterfly. Mary Woods was the top DePaul finisher in the 200 breaststroke after finishing third, while Annie Graves was third in the 100 backstroke. The Tigers returned to action on January 1st at the St. Pete Classic in St. Petersburg, Florida. 4 women on DePaul's field hockey team were given Division III All-Region honors. Paige Berliner, Maddie Birds, and Rose Revelinsky were all given first-team honors, and freshman Kate Milner was named to the second team. A special shout-out to Paige Berliner for leading the Tigers with 49 total points, including 21 goals. More all-region and national titles will be given out this Wednesday. Congrats on a successful season, ladies. That's all the Tiger sports news for tonight. I'm Meredith Brita. Go Tigers!
Friday, December 9th at 7:30 p.m. in Meharry Hall. See DePaul Capella like you've never seen them before. It's the winter concert you won't want to miss. Friday, December 9th at 7:30 p.m. in Meharry Hall. See DePaul Capella like you've never seen them before. It's the winter concert you won't want to miss.
Hi, I'm Tom Crispin. I'm from Fairfield, Connecticut, and I'm the general manager here at D3 TV.
I am Katie Browning, and I am serving as the executive producer at D3 TV.
My name is Julie Block. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, and I am the news director here at D3 TV.
And I'm Rick Yogazaki. I'm from Greenwich, Connecticut, and I'm director of programming at D3 TV.
I'm Laurel O'Rourke. I'm from Fort Wayne, Indiana, and I'm the director of programming.
I'm Jerica Bean. I'm from Greencastle, Indiana. I'm the director of internal advertising.
I'm Kylie Rippey. I'm director of alumni outreach and event coordination, and I'm from Plymouth, Indiana, and I'm afraid of birds.
I'm not afraid of birds. I'm Tilly Marlatt. I'm the assistant news director for The Source, and I am from Attica, Indiana. Brush D3 TV.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Boyd. I'm from Westerville, Ohio.
I'm Tyler Murphy. I am from Louisville, Kentucky.
And I am the director of online programming, which means I do stuff with YouTube.
I am one of the head content creators.
What are you doing? I can do this thing with my tongue.
That's like a clover.
And that's like a star. I can do a taco. Can you do a taco tongue? Can you roll it? No.
I am king of D3 TV.
I am the emperor of D3 TV.
Ladies first.
He's never this delayed.
Go ahead.
Yeah. We're out.
Congratulations! You've now joined D3 TV, the most successful student organization involving television on campus.
Can I get involved with D3 TV now?
No. D3 TV is one of the longest running student organizations on campus and has recently shown considerable growth with online media and content.
Can I get involved in D3 TV now?
Not so fast! There's still plenty for you to learn about editing, creating content, marketing, interviewing, using a microwave, and hands-on experience with your peers and professors. Sounds like a lot of
Hoopla!
Sounds like
Hoopla! Hoopla! Hoopla!
Sounds like an awful lot of hoopla about a college television network. To get involved with D3 TV, contact us online or just come in at our offices located at the Pulliam Center for Contemporary Media.
Welcome back to The Source. I'm Tiernan Shank here with Nancy Huen and Maggie Rocha, who both organized and led a walkout on Friday, November 18th. The purpose of the walkout was to urge the administration to protect undocumented students from deportation. Ladies, thank you so much for being here with me.
No problem. Thanks for having us.
Of course. So, how did the discussion of the immigration policy develop?
Well, it first began with there was a national walkout day, and this happened the Wednesday before we decided to do it. And at least for me, I know my posse mentor, who she was one of the professors that actually wrote up the Sanctuary Campus petition, and as eventually like word got out that this was like a national walkout day, and like DePaul did not do anything at all that day, and that kind of stirred me up, and I'm the vice president of the Committee for Latino Concerns, so I brought it up to my exec, and from there we started like piggybacking off people, and you know, we got a whole group together.
Can you explain to me a little bit what the Sanctuary Campus petition was?
Yeah, it was basically, it actually got formulated by, I think it was 4 different professors, and then it was basically asking DePaul to declare itself as a sanctuary campus to protect students who are here under DACA, and essentially it was just basically asking for protection of students, essentially, like that's what it comes down to. And it asked also like what DePaul was going to do when if DACA were to, you know, be revoked, if that ever happened. So it was just like unanswered questions that we wanted to know in order to keep our community safe.
So what does a sanctuary campus actually mean? Are there laws protecting a sanctuary campus?
Yeah, so there are different definitions for sanctuary campus throughout different campuses around the nation, right? So for us right now, we're still in the works of creating our own definition of what that means. But for now, what the demands were in the petition and what we were talking about throughout the walkout was for limited cooperation with ICE and for DePaul to limit its, to not give out information about the status of students if that were to come.
Okay. What was the goal of the walkout?
Well, we began with like essentially since this was like a campus-wide thing, right? And this is bigger than just like undocumented students. Like a lot of different identities are being targeted. So essentially it was one, to stand in solidarity with our brothers and sisters who are, living in fear, literally, after like the presidential election. And it was also like to let the campus know and let admissions and everybody who's in this, who's in a position of like power to voice like our concerns at the same time, and to let them know that we're standing with our brothers and sisters across the nation, whether it be in California and New York and Florida, even in the Midwest. Like there are students who are undocumented and who do need this protection, and it's not only here at DePaul, but it's also like it goes back into our communities back at home, right? So like our families back in Chicago too, or wherever it be. So this is larger than just DePaul.
Do you think the goal of the walkout, or I guess maybe your individual goals, were met, were achieved?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the word got out, which was number one important thing. I mean, the turnout for the walkout was incredible. Yeah. Over 100 of students came out, and it started dialogue. And what we're aiming for here is real dialogue, so discourse that is based on real facts. And so that provoked interest in the community to figure out. I had emails and messages on Facebook of students asking me like, what does this mean? And so to promote the education aspect of it, as well as advocate for the students who can't actually do it themselves because of discretionary reasons,
Yeah. And I feel like even so the walkout happened on Friday, right? And Thursday night we had a meeting, because for me it seemed like really pointless to have my community, stand behind me and they not know what a sanctuary campus is, right? So that meeting Thursday night was really all dialogue. I talked to them about what a sanctuary campus is, right, and what other universities are doing, and why it's important for us to stand up also and do something about what's happening in order to sort of get our goal out, and obviously, like, I feel like we did accomplish a lot. We had the meeting with McCoy and his cabinet also, which is what we asked for, dialogue, especially educating students on immigration policies also. So it's happening.
How did that meeting go with McCoy and his cabinet?
I think it went really well. I mean, obviously we have differences in what communication meant, and that was a big thing. So we're working with the administration hand in hand to figure out how to communicate the progress of this movement better. So in the beginning, we were talking about how the administration was taking action behind the scenes, but we didn't know about this action. We didn't know about what they were doing because there was a lack of communication. The communication wasn't effective. It was, oh, so you're going to tell them, or you're going to tell them, and that's not what we want. That's not what we want for our students who are actually, like Maggie said, living in fear. So that's a big part. And the second thing we talked about was, again, the education. So we as student leaders are all joining together to put on events and to put on informative things and bring speakers possibly to campus to talk about immigration law in a nonpartisan way, because a lot of this is misunderstanding, right? So, I mean, the conversation went well in that sense, but then again, we do have a lot of, we still have a lot to do. I think we still need to figure out a way to make a statement about where DePaul stands. I mean, the emails are one thing, but there's another thing about making a public statement. And we're working towards how do we make that statement safely so that it protects all students, because we understand the risk of this. So,
Yeah.
How do you educate students that don't care, that don't want to care?
Well,
tough question, I know.
That is a tough question.
And I feel like this, like we even saw it in the walkout, right? Because we went from building to building, and one of those was Hoover, and it was around the lunchtime period, and there was at least like 15 students in there that were eating like not even acknowledging that we were there, you know, and that like that really hurts, especially because like DePaul like prides itself on this community, you know, and like everybody, you know, is able to express themselves, and you know, essentially like everybody has a voice here, you know, and then like you come and you voice your concerns and the concerns of your communities, and there's some people that don't even acknowledge that, you know, and I feel like that's something that we are working with as we go also, you know, but I feel like we've done progress, right? Because some people didn't even know what a sanctuary campus was, and that's it. And then some people didn't know what DACA was either, you know, and this is like part of the education process. And I feel like getting dialogue out there and you know, letting them know what the facts are instead of like, you know, this like, I guess, thoughts, you know, that people or common misconceptions that people have. That's what we're trying to like break.
And I think one of the biggest things is mediums such as D3TV, WGRE, Facebook, and all the things that we use. Some of these things can't be ignored. They're on your news feed. They're on just basically everything. And we're planning on posting posters, having signs. We are making it so that these laws can't be ignored. You will see them all over campus. There will be events posted all over campus. So essentially, like, even if you don't care, at least you know what, you know, if you disagree with us, at least you're coming to the table with meaningful discourse, you know.
How do you think the rise in campus protests and walkouts recently has reshaped the DePaul community?
I mean, I think it has promoted critical thinking and awareness, and through active political participation, right? So, I mean, these conversations are happening no matter what, because you can't ignore 100 students walking past with posters and chanting, right? So I think, like you said about the students who don't care, it's shaping them even not directly, indirectly, like they cannot ignore us.
What is your main goal for the future? Because you guys are going to graduate, and this problem may persist. So I guess maybe what is the mark you would like to leave?
Yeah, and that's something that we talked about during the meeting too, was how do we define success? And to be frank, that's something that we're still working towards. And we want students to be as active as possible in learning about these things at the very least. At the very least, at least be knowledgeable and know how to help your fellow students if they are in need of help. How do we get information about immigration out there for students who need it if that time may come? On top of that, we have a team, we have a great running team of students who are continually interested, and especially first-year students. So even if we graduate, I mean, I'm graduating this year, Maggie's going abroad, but we have a group of very young, very ambitious students who want to keep the movement going. So, I mean, I don't think that's anything to worry about per se. Right now, we're just focusing on January 20th and what we can do until then and how we can protect students until then.
Yeah, I feel like for me it's at least, you know, because I am studying abroad next semester, it's talking to these first years in order for like what we're working on, so that doesn't get lost in translation, right? Because I feel like oftentimes, especially on campus, we have these protests and these marches and these walkouts, and then, you know, after break, like, we all forget about it, you know, and we literally like told McCoy, this is not one of those, you know, like, we are going to keep on fighting, and we're not going to stop until the students here are not living in fear, you know, and that is also subjective. So it's talking to all these students and reaching out to different communities, right? And because it's not just one identity that is being targeted here; it's a lot of people, you know. And for me, I wouldn't be able to, I don't know, it just wouldn't feel right for me to leave knowing that I didn't do anything for my community while I was here. You know, so it's trying to pass that message and keep that legacy here, you know, and for other students to follow in our steps, and, you know, to be able to voice their opinions, and, you know, to be that, like, that powerhouse, you know, that is needed here.
Well, thank you so much for being here tonight on The Source. We really appreciate you taking the time.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Well, this is our final episode of The Source this semester. We will be back next spring with more content. Continue to follow us on social media and check out d3tv.org for more station content. Until next semester, I'm Tiernan Shank. Thanks for tuning in.